Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
Have you ever sat in your car in your own driveway, engine off, keys still in your hand, and just not gone inside yet? Nothing happened today. No fight with your boss, no bad news, no emergency, and yet your whole body feels like it just came home from war. Meanwhile, your neighbor pulls in beside you, waves, whistles, something cheerful, and walks straight through her front door like the day cost her nothing at all. So you sit there a little longer, and the question creeps in, quiet but sharp. What is wrong with me? Here's the truth. Nobody hands you in a manual. Nothing is wrong with you. You have simply been trying to survive in a climate that was never built for your kind of nervous system. And the moment you understand that, everything changes. Not because you become tougher, because you finally stop fighting your own biology and start building it a home. Tonight, we're not going to talk about how to toughen up. We're going to talk about how to build a greenhouse, a space engineered for exactly what you are. And once that greenhouse exists, the very sensitivity that has been draining you your whole life will quietly become the sharpest, most beautiful gift you own. The science behind why you feel everything so loudly. To build this greenhouse, we need a new lens for understanding human wiring altogether. Decades ago, pediatric researcher Dr. Thomas Boyce spent years studying children and stress, and he noticed something remarkable. Kids didn't respond to hardship in one uniform way. They split, almost cleanly, into two very different types. He called the first group dandelions. Drop a dandelion seed onto a cracked sidewalk, a rocky hillside, a manicured garden. It doesn't matter. It grows. It's resilient by design, mostly unbothered by its surroundings. And this flexibility is exactly why dandelions make up the majority of any population. They keep offices running, keep routines steady, keep the world turning on schedule regardless of the noise around them. Then there's the second group. Boyce called them orchids. An orchid does not grow just anywhere. Plant it in bad soil, in the wrong light, in a harsh climate, and it withers fast. But hand that same orchid the right temperature, the right humidity, the right stillness, and it doesn't just survive. It becomes the most breathtaking thing in the room. If you're watching this and something in your chest just tightened in recognition, you're probably an orchid. Your nervous system doesn't casually observe the world. It absorbs it, the flicker of fluorescent light, the edge in a coworker's tone, the half-second pause before someone answers your text. Other people walk past all of that without noticing. You catch every frame of it. This is not a flaw ranked beneath the dandelions. It's a different operating system entirely. And understanding that, not fixing yourself, is where your relief begins. Why your body was built this way. So why would nature design a nervous system this exhausting? There's a concept in evolutionary psychology called mismatch theory, and it explains almost everything. Imagine your nervous system as an extraordinarily precise instrument, calibrated over hundreds of thousands of years in a much quieter world. Back then, that heightened awareness wasn't a burden. It was survival currency. The orchids of the tribe were the ones who noticed the shift in wind before a storm rolled in, who sensed unease in another person's face before anyone said a word out loud, who caught the danger everyone else walked straight past. You weren't broken back then. You were the early warning system the whole group depended on. But the world sprinted forward, and your nervous system stayed exactly as it was built. Picture a young woman named Amara, 3 months into a new job at a logistics company in a glass office tower. Slack pings every 90 seconds. Someone's blasting a podcast through cheap earbuds 2 desks over. Her manager sends a message with a period at the end instead of an exclamation point, and her stomach drops for the next 4 hours, wondering if she did something wrong. By 2 p.m., she has answered maybe 6 emails, and her brain feels like it ran a marathon in shoes, 2 sizes too small. Everyone around her seems fine. She starts to believe the problem must be her. It isn't her. It's the mismatch. And mismatches don't get solved by trying harder. They get solved by redesigning the environment. That redesign is the greenhouse, not a hiding place from the world. A deliberately built environment that lets you re-enter the world as your strongest self. And there's real research behind this. Highly sensitive people don't just avoid harm more in bad environments. They measurably outperform everyone else, dandelions included when placed in supportive ones. Give an orchid the right greenhouse, and it doesn't merely cope. It blooms past anything a dandelion could produce. So let's build yours. 2 strategies. Starting now, # strategy 1, guarding your nervous system. The first wall of your greenhouse is what psychologists call your sensory diet. Everything your senses are forced to consume in a given day. Just like your body reflects what you eat, your energy reflects what you let in through your eyes, ears, and skin. And if you're an orchid, you have been consuming a diet built for someone else's system your entire life. Let's be honest about how loud this world actually is. You walk into your workplace, and the hum of the air conditioner, the clatter of a printer, 3 overlapping conversations near the coffee station. It all quietly tightens something behind your eyes before 9 a.m. even finishes. Stop enduring it. Put in a pair of noise-dampening earbuds. They don't need to cost a fortune. They simply need to give your nervous system a boundary the room refuses to give you. And if you're standing in a crowded train platform in Manila, or a packed market stall in Lagos, or a wedding reception with 200 relatives, and you feel your vision start to blur at the edges, leave. Step outside immediately. Don't stay because you're afraid someone will think you're strange. You are not fragile. The room simply exceeded the input your system was built to hold, and there is no apology owed for that. But avoidance alone won't refill you. You also need a recovery pocket. This can be anything. A stairwell nobody uses, an empty supply closet, the front seat of your car during your lunch break. Picture Elena, a nurse in a busy hospital in Madrid. When her hands start to shake slightly and her patients phrase mid-shift, she doesn't push through. She slips into the linen room for 4 minutes. No phone. Especially no scrolling, because doom scrolling during nervous system overload is like handing a thirsty person a glass of salt water. It looks like relief. It isn't. She just breathes, slow and low, until her shoulders drop an inch. Then she goes back out and finishes her shift stronger than when she left it. Once you've cleared the noise and built a place to reset, the next layer is deliberately feeding your senses something beautiful. Ask yourself honestly, do you get even 10 minutes of daylight or greenery in a normal day? Your brain is starving for those natural patterns, and they cost nothing to give it back. Pay attention to what touches your skin, too. A scratchy collar or a stiff waistband can quietly siphon your energy for 8 straight hours without you ever tracing the cause. Choose fabric that feels like relief, not tolerance. When you finally get home, wrap yourself in something weighted or heavy. A thick blanket, a warm robe. That steady pressure is a signal to your body. The danger has passed. You can stand down now. And for sound. If your whole day has been traffic horns and notification chimes, let your evening be rain, ocean static, or something instrumental and slow. This isn't self-indulgence. It's recalibration. Beauty, quite literally, restores your chemistry faster than almost anything else available to you. Last piece of this layer, your phone. It is quietly costing you more than you realize. Try switching your screen to grayscale for a week and notice how much less it pulls at you. Keep it in another room while you sleep. You are allowed to decide when the world gets access to your nervous system, not the other way around. Quick question before we go further. Which one hit you hardest so far? The sensory overload or the exhaustion of feeling like you have to hide it? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. # strategy 2, guarding your relationships. Once the physical layer of your greenhouse is standing, we build the second wall, the one that leaks the most energy of all, your relationships. Here's your particular struggle. You don't just witness someone's pain. You absorb it into your own body like it's yours to carry. You sit across from a friend having a hard week, and by the time you drive home, her sadness has somehow moved into your chest and taken up residence there too. You come home hollowed out, not because your day was difficult, but because you spent it quietly metabolizing everyone else's emotions on top of your own. We often mistake this for compassion. When someone we love is drowning, our instinct is to dive into the water right alongside them. But if you both go under, nobody makes it back to shore. So here's the new practice. When someone brings you their pain, stay standing firmly on the shore. Listen, care, fully and completely, but hold this sentence quietly in your mind. I can witness this without carrying it home with me. You throw them the rope. You don't jump into the current. Staying grounded isn't distance. It's what actually gives you the strength to help someone for the long haul instead of collapsing beside them. Alongside that, you need what I call the pause protocol, because you feel disappointment in someone's voice instantly and completely. Saying no can feel almost physically painful. So you say yes to the extra shift, the favor, the invitation you never wanted, and then quietly resent it for days afterward. Starting today, retire the instant yes. Whenever a request touches your time or your energy, use one simple sentence. Let me check my week and get back to you. That single line is the reinforced glass of your greenhouse. It buys your rational mind a few hours to catch up before your instinct to please everyone rushes in and signs you up for something you'll regret. Anyone who genuinely respects you will wait for your answer. Delayed is not the same as unkind. Finally, and this one takes real courage, become a deliberate gatekeeper of who gets access to your inner world. Not everyone earns a place inside your greenhouse. Some people function like a slow leak in your energy. After time with them, you feel flattened, even if you couldn't point to a single unkind word they said. Run a simple test after every interaction. Do I feel lighter or heavier than before? If the honest answer is heavier, more often than not, you have permission to quietly step back. You are not responsible for rescuing everyone who crosses your path, and needing fewer people in your circle does not make you cold. It makes you finally awake. What happens if you never build the greenhouse? Now I need you to hear something clearly, because this part matters more than any of the strategies before it. If you keep living unprotected, no boundaries around your senses, no walls around your energy, the damage doesn't arrive all at once. It creeps in so slowly, you'll barely notice it happening. At first, it just feels like an unexplainable tiredness. You sleep 8 hours and still wake up depleted. You go through your day, hold conversations, meet your deadlines, but underneath all of it sits a low, constant hum of burnout you can't quite name. And here's the part almost no one warns you about. Eventually, your nervous system protects itself the only way it knows how, by turning the volume down on everything, not just the pain, the joy too. Songs that used to move you to tears become background noise. Moments that once felt vivid start to feel gray and distant. Not because you changed as a person, because your system got too exhausted to keep feeling at full volume. You don't collapse dramatically in one visible moment. You just slowly become less energy, less connection, less of the vivid, alive person you actually are. That's the real cost of ignoring this. It was never really about being too tired. It's about quietly losing the exact thing that made you remarkable in the first place. Your capacity to feel deeply, connect deeply, and live at full color. And it rarely stays only emotional. It becomes physical too. The unexplained tension in your jaw, the restless nights, the ache in your shoulders you can't trace to any one cause. That is not random. That is your body finally raising its voice after being quietly ignored for years. Living on purpose, not on autopilot. Every strategy we've discussed tonight points to one deeper shift. You have to stop living on autopilot, reacting to a world you never chose the terms of. You might be thinking, isn't this all a bit much? Everyone else seems to manage fine without doing any of this. This thought right here is the most dangerous trap a sensitive person can fall into. The desperate hope that if you just try hard enough, you'll finally become a dandelion. Face this clearly. The modern world. Open offices, endless notifications, back-to-back social obligations was built by dandelions for dandelions. If you keep trying to win a game built for someone else's nervous system, you will burn out every single time, no matter how disciplined you are. To do more than survive, you have to become the deliberate architect of your own life. Living consciously means you choose, on purpose, what reaches your eyes, who gets your evenings, and which rooms you're willing to walk into. You stop being a passenger inside your own life and become the one holding the map. Stop comparing your inner experience to someone else's ease and calling the difference a personal failure. Instead, Take pride in the fact that you notice depth, nuance, and beauty that most people walk straight past without ever seeing. The moment you fully accept that you are an orchid, you will finally stop the exhausting project of trying to become a dandelion. And that is precisely the moment your sensitivity stops being your burden and starts becoming your signature strength. This world is growing colder and more mechanical by the year. It needs people who still feel things deeply. It needs your compassion, your attentiveness, your depth. Now more than ever. # your greenhouse starting tonight. So here's what this means for you right now, tonight. When you finally build your own greenhouse, something shifts permanently. You stop labeling yourself as too much or too emotional. Instead, you start noticing a quiet creativity returning, an empathy so genuine that people feel truly seen around you, and a perceptiveness that very few people on this earth are given. There was never anything wrong with you. You simply needed the right conditions to grow into exactly who you were designed to be. And the moment you protect that system instead of fighting it, you'll start to notice just how vivid, layered, and beautiful your life actually is. Don't wait for tomorrow to start this. Choose one small action right now, tonight. Order the headphones. Practice saying, "Let me get back to you," to the one request that's been quietly draining you. Or just sit still for 5 minutes. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and thank your incredible, overworked nervous system for letting you feel this world so completely. You were never meant to become a dandelion. You were built to be the most vivid, resilient orchid in whatever greenhouse you choose to build for yourself. If this found you tonight exactly when you needed it, hit subscribe, share it with the one person who needs to hear this too, and tell me in the comments, I am reclaiming my peace. Because here, on this channel, we don't just study psychology. We come home to ourselves. I'll see you in the next one.